actually talk about today's episode and what's going to take place during Dialogue with the Dukes, I feel it's necessary to talk about some of the outstanding performances by athletes here at Wellington High School. And the first one has to do with Joe Fox. Joe Fox, he was on the first team along with Bella Waters in all conference and also all county, Joe Fox and Bella Waters. Joe Fox was also, or shall we say, qualified for both the as a regional qualifier and a state qualifier. And when he ran in the state, he placed 45th out of 185 runners all over the entire state of Ohio. And not only that, he actually performed his best time of all of the times that he has run during conference. And also, because he's only a sophomore, he still has 2 more years to go. We also want to talk about the fact that the girls golf team, for the first time, we at Wellington High School had for the first time, we had a golf team, a girls golf team, and first team all conference for the girls have not actually been put out yet, but I wanted to make sure that we actually talked about the golf team and the fact that they did so well as far as the girls. The boys also did very well. For the first time, they were conference champions at Wellington High School. First team all conference, they were Landon Davison, Braden Hamer, and Riley Reyna. And also, as far as boys soccer is concerned, the gentleman to my immediate left, he received honorable mention along with Zach Barnes for all county and also for first team for boys soccer with Gabe Hiroshak and Max Schatz. And second team, Dustin and Dulcic and Spencer Brazee. So congratulations to you, Jonah.
Thank you.
As far as volleyball is concerned, we had a very special lady who was actually picked for qualifying for both district and state this year. Morgan Lemkool was selected to play in the Senior All-Star game for both district and state for volleyball this fall. And finally, to my immediate right, Maya Feron was actually involved with the entire marching band. They, and you'll have to correct me if I get this wrong, but they participated in the OMEA, which is the Ohio Music Education Association, and they received an excellent when they performed at Medina this year. So congratulations not only to you, Maya, but to the entire marching band. We'll be back again with the crux of what today's episode is going to be. This is Dialogue with the Dukes. Welcome to another episode of Dialogue with the Dukes. Today's show is being brought to you by the Wellington Music Store, located at 117-119 on West Herrick Street in downtown Wellington. Today's show is spotlighting this year's holiday Christmas show being put on by the Wellington Drama Club and the Community Theater. Today's, or should I say the show, is called A Christmas Carol, a live radio play. This was performed actually 5 years ago by the same group, but things have improved a whole lot, especially with what's known as the Foley Table. And today we have Miss Adelle Pickering. She is one of the people that are going to be on the Foley Table here at Wellington High School for the play. Welcome, Adelle. Glad to have you with us. First of all, even though we've done a Foley Table before, we did one for A Christmas Carol and 2 years ago with A Wonderful Life. What are the origins of the Foley Table?
So the origins of the Foley Table come from the live broadcast era of the 1920s. Radio studios would hire sound artists to create the effects live on cue and improvise with the radio host during broadcasts. One of the pioneers and most recognized names in the broadcast world was Jack Foley.
Yeah, well, this all started way back in, especially in the early 20th century with the Foley Table. What are the challenges of knowing the script, knowing when to do your sound effects and things like that, and integrating the sound effects with the actors?
So you have to know the script inside and out. It's really, if something happens on the fly with the actors, someone forgets their line and that's one of your cues, you just have to roll with the punches.
Mm-hmm. Now, how do you actually set up the Foley Table for the play itself? Do you do things like in order, or because of the script, do you know which one and where to go each time?
So we actually set up our Foley Table with our artists. So my area is all over here. So all of my script and instruments will be on this side, and then the other two Foley artists will be, their setups are right in front of them when they sit.
Mm-hmm. Well, now, how does the team actually shall we go, integrate with the use of the different instruments, because I see the last time we did a Foley table, it was just the Foley table. We didn't have instruments like drums and chimes and things like that. So how do you actually integrate the different sounds now, since we're doing things a lot differently with just the Foley table from before, and now we're integrating more instruments?
Well, Mr. Conklin has challenged us this year more heavily to think outside of the box. So, for instance, the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come they don't talk. So it is communicating purely through the timpani and the bass drum. And Mr. Conklin's really pushed us to do that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know that there's lots of different sounds. Like, I understand there's a different sound for the ghosts. There's different sounds, like I said, with the chimes and the drums. And so how is that actually integrated into the play itself, since it's brand new and we've never done this before? It's in other words, how do you actually integrate the sounds of the different things? Like, like when a ghost comes in, you're going to use a different sound, right? When if Scrooge comes in or something like that, how do you actually integrate the sounds from the Foley table versus the percussion?
So the Foley table is obviously quieter than these big instruments back here. So we use mics, and sometimes we sort of like sneak in underneath the actors just to make sure everything is nicely incorporated.
Okay. Now, we know that we're going to be using digital sound also, as well as sounds from the Foley table, sounds from the percussion. Again, how is that integrated?
So the digital is really, there's only about 2 or 3 digital sound effects. We don't have to worry about that too much as years past. But there's one scene where there's a door slam, and we can't do that we obviously don't have a door up here. So there is a little, I think it's either a book or a little origami door that we like pretend to slam, and this digital sound effect will run at the same time. So it's sort of like sleight of hand.
Very good. Well, because we have all the stuff here, how about if you would give us a demonstration of either the Foley table or the percussion, or both?
Okay. My area of expertise is with the percussion, so I'm going to demonstrate the chimes.
Okay, very good.
So this is used as church bells like 2 or 3 times throughout the play, and it's basically the same throughout the entire day.
Okay, very good. Well, we'd like to thank Miss Adelle Pickering for demonstrating the percussion and also talking to us about the Foley table and how it's actually integrated into the play. When we come back after this message, we'll talk to 2 of the actors that are actually involved in the play itself. This is Dialogue with the Dukes.
Wellington Music offers a lot of opportunities for young and old. Whether it's buying a new guitar or renting an instrument for your middle school band member, we can supply you with what you need. We house a variety of popular brands, including, but not limited to, Jim Dunlop, Black Star, Tajima, and Alvarez. We also have many accessories to help with your technique, from guitar picks, amps and chords, to reeds for your saxophone, and music books for everything in between. For more information, visit our website or call 440-647-3233.
Welcome back. We hope that if you need anything in the music line, you go visit the Wellington Music Store located at 119 on West Herrick in downtown Wellington. During the first portion of this episode, we talked about the Foley table and all of the integration involved with the actors and all of the sound effects, and how we've improved this year over previous years on the Foley table itself and using the different instruments to actually perform along with the actors in the play itself. So now we get to interview 2 of the actors. And today on my immediate right we have Maya Feron, and on my immediate left we have Jonah Stump. Jonah, because I know that you're Scrooge and you're one of the most important people in the play, if you could give us a background or summarize A Christmas Carol.
Sure. So we follow pretty closely the story from the original Charles Dickens story, which follows Ebenezer Scrooge, who's this old man who's very miserly with his money, He's not very giving to anybody. He's pretty nasty. And then one night, on Christmas Eve, he gets haunted by the ghost of his business partner who had died 7 years previously. And he says that you're going to be haunted by 3 ghosts, and they're like the only chance you have to escape this terrible fate that I have. And so it follows Scrooge on that night as he's haunted by the ghosts.
Very good. Well, but now we go over to Maya, and even though he's already talked about Scrooge and the ghosts and the guy who died, who are the really main characters of the play?
Well, obviously Scrooge, but with this being a radio play, we have a set of, what is it, like
radio.
Yeah, like 4. How many of them? Like 5. 5 of them. So they are the same radio actors from It's a Wonderful Life. So it's like actors playing actors who are playing roles.
Oh, okay.
So there's like Lana Sherwood, Sally Applewhite, Freddie Fillmore, Jake Laurent, Harry Jasbo Haywood. So they really come in during the commercials and at the beginning of the show to give that feel that, oh, we're actually the audience is actually watching a live studio performance of a radio show.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what characters do you play, Jonah? Or character or characters?
I play Freddie Fillmore, who is one of the radio personalities that Maya mentioned.
Okay.
But I also play Scrooge and Santa Claus for one of the television ads.
Okay, and the character or characters that you play, Maya?
I play Ghost of Christmas Past, and I also play First Man, which is more a minor role, as well as Good Little Girl, which is a minor role, one of the commercials with Jonah.
Are you a good little girl?
Yes.
Jonah, what's different about doing a radio play versus just doing a regular play, like doing It's a Wonderful Life, say, but without all the microphones and the Foley table and things like that? Things have got to be different.
Yeah. Well, for radio shows that we do, the blocking is a lot simpler. So blocking is your movements on stage and all the different things that you do.
Sure.
The blocking for this show consists mostly of entering, going to a mic, saying your lines, and then exiting, whereas you'd be interacting with all the different people and you'd have different things to do when you're on stage for a play that wasn't a radio play.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you have the Foley table, which is where we are, that you have interaction with as well. It's a lot more fluid, the sound effects. You're not really just answering to the speakers. You can see them making them.
Sure. Well, going along with what Jonah was saying, now, what's different about this play versus doing a regular Christmas play like A Wonderful Life or A Christmas Carol, when you're actually on stage, kind of like what he was talking about? In other words, how are the actors involved in front of all the microphones and interacting with the Foley table?
So I remember when I did It's a Wonderful Life radio play, I had a few characters. And afterwards, my mom, she was like, I could tell exactly which character you're going to be the minute you stepped up to the microphone.
Oh, really?
See, that's what's really, really different about the radio show, because you think, oh, it's like 10 times easier, right? You don't have any blocking. You just walk up, say your lines, and it's done.
Right.
But Mr. Conklin is very detail-oriented as a director. So he'll be like, okay, I want you to show this character on your body. You're not just standing there looking straight ahead and saying your line. It's not only your voice that's changing and telling the story, it's also your body, your look, you're pretending to be the character even though you're a 1940s radio actor also.
Well, Jonah, last question for you. People in the audience are going to be watching this play. What can the people in the audience learn from this play, A Christmas Carol?
Well, certainly there are all the morals of the show. Scrooge, not being greedy, charity, mercy, forbearance, as Marley says.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they'll learn a good time. How Foley table works, how all the radio actors do, how we work as a team back here. I think they'll learn all the different things of why we continue to do it like this.
Very good. Well, Maya, the specifics. When are people coming? When is the play being put on? How much does it cost, and so on?
All right, you can come see us December 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Tickets are $6 for seniors, $11 for everyone else. Doors open at 6:30 and shows at 7.
Okay, and it's $6 for not only seniors but also for students and for children also. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'd like to thank both Adelle Pickering for talking to us about the Foley Table, and Maya Feron and Jonah Stump for coming in and talking to us from an actor's point of view of what's actually going to be happening in A Christmas Carol, a live radio play. We'll be back again soon with another episode of Dialogue with the Dukes.